What's up guys, Mark back here with yet another video, and today it appears that Fuji is finally looking to put in-body image stabilization in their future cameras. At least that's according to the rumor from a quote-unquote trusted source over at FujiRumors.com. IBIS is the hot new thing right now in both photography and in videography, more so to do in video, but it does come in really handy for photos as well, enabling you to take shots at much lower shutter speeds and reducing the need to actually bump up your ISO and then degrade the quality of the image. In the past, Fuji has said that it has zero plans to implement any type of IBIS into their cameras, and according to them, it just wasn't even compatible with the Fuji X-Mount system. Back in February of 2016, FujiLove.com did an interview with Takashi Ueno and asked him this: are you looking into IBIS on future Fujifilm cameras, and if not, why? And he says, first of all, our XF mount is not compatible with IBIS. You may be thinking that our mount size is similar to competitors and why Fujifilm cannot do it. The answer is simple: for the sake of image quality. IBIS has both advantages and disadvantages. IBIS moves the sensor in the mount to stabilize the image. To secure the amount of light at any position, the diameter of the mount must cover a wider image circle considering the margin of sensor movement. The diameter of our mount was designed for the circle without IBIS. So it means that the amount of the light at the corners is reduced when the sensor is shifted. We could correct it digitally, but we don't want to. We don't want to compromise our image quality. Then Fuji Rumors did a poll back in February of 2016, and they asked their readers, do you agree with the position of Fuji about in-body image stabilization? 62% of respondents said yes, Fuji should focus on the highest image quality possible and avoid digitally correcting the image. 38% said no, Fuji should implement IBIS and digitally correct the reduced light in the corners. And personally, I appreciate the fact that Fuji is consciously prioritizing image quality over anything else, but IBIS has seen plenty of success in other systems like Sony, Panasonic, and Olympus. Then leads me over to Canon and Nikon, who've also said that optical image stabilization was better than IBIS because it delivers, better images. And ultimately, that's what we're all here for. We want better quality images. They say that each lens is optimally tuned to achieve reliable correction. They also say that number 2, optical image stabilization allows faster and more accurate autofocus and exposure metering. Basically because the image already comes stabilized to the camera sensor. And they also say that optical image stabilization is more effective with long telephoto lenses. But IBIS does have a very strong argument working for it. IBIS is built into the camera, not just the lens. So everything, even old school film glass, has the potential to become a stabilized lens. And that could mean a lot of money saved over the long haul, especially if you love to manual focus. Now, I believe that that's probably one of the main reasons some companies have resisted implementing IBIS to begin with, because if they used IBIS, that would be a really huge de-incentive to not buy their more expensive OSS or OIS or VR glass or whatever branding they're using. And personally, I just don't think that any of these companies are interested in slamming the door on their own dicks. I was also digging around on the Fuji forum, and I found this post by a guy named Francisco Vega. And he was basically laying out the argument of, how Fuji could potentially implement this without taking a serious hit to image quality. And he says, Fuji began taking video seriously, and what I've noticed is that IBIS is particularly useful for video. Why is this relevant? When recording video, the camera only reads out the information from the inner part of the sensor, thus allowing room for the sensor to be shifted without the risk of affecting the video quality near the edges of the frame. And he's right. And that could at least be a step forward, that Fuji could implement IBIS in maybe video mode only, at least till they can solve the vignetting hurdles. This would be a huge boon to the video shooters who love Fuji's image aesthetic and could really draw in a ton of new customers. Fuji already has a really, really nice lineup of optically image stabilized lenses that cover a lot of focal ranges, and their optical image stabilization technology is probably some of the best in the business. And look, if you don't believe me, go to any camera store and slap the 50 to 140 millimeter on the X-T3 and just go prove it to yourself. So, optical image stabilization takes care of the pitch and the yaw, but the in-body image stabilization deals with the X, Y, and the roll. those being the biggest benefit to videographers. And that's the reason so many people are picking up Sony gear, and for good reason. It works extremely, extremely well. So, do you guys think Fuji should sacrifice a little bit of image quality to finally get in-body image stabilization in their cameras, or do you want to see them wait it out maybe a bit longer to see if the tech can advance so that you never lose a pixel of that Fuji magic? So, just let me know what say you in the comments below, and please like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. As always, thanks for stopping here at The Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I will see you guys again on the next one.